我真不行耶，我真不行，为什么要逼我做英文的 YouTuber？ 不要逼我。Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today what I want to do is the Q&A because in this video I just want to sit down, share my heart, share what's going on, just really get to know you guys and you guys get to know me too. Of course, I collect the questions on my Instagram, so if you want to join the next Q&A, you can follow my Instagram. Before we start the Q&A, grab yourself a snack, drink, whatever, because this video is kind of long, and let's just get ready for it. Okay, the first question is, why you decided to be the YouTuber? Oh, that's because I need to finish my final video presentation of economics, but the project really inspired me. It made me realize how good I am to be a YouTuber. But that's a long story, maybe we could talk in the next video. The question is, do you really take the online course when learning at home? Of course, you know, my economic teacher will release the online video every weekend and I will watch it every Monday morning. I really learn a lot from the economic online video. I like it. Okay, the third question is, what's the difference between classical school and Keynesian school? Who asked this question? Oh, it's Jake. Jake, you really asked a point. But before I tell you what's the difference between the classical school and Keynesian school, I should first introduce the broad category of the two schools. Let me explain the classical school at first. Adam Smith is the representative of classical school, which affirms that markets perform best with minimal government intervention. To put it more clearly, they think the markets have a tendency to move toward equilibrium through an invisible hand. What's more, they believe that the wealth of the nation, which is their productive capacity, is formed based on the trade, not the quantity of gold. What about Keynesian schools? The word Keynesian is from the name of John Maynard Keynes. Keynesian economics founded macroeconomics, which is different from microeconomics, like that economic output is strongly influenced by aggregate demand in the short run. What's more, Keynesian economists believe that the government can avoid or moderate inefficient market outcome by monetary or fiscal policy. By increasing the aggregate demand, government can boost the growth of economies. After introducing the broad category of the two schools, we can see their distinctions in many different aspects. From a time horizon, classical school emphasized the long-run effects while Keynesian school emphasized in the short-run effects. Since classical economists emphasize the long-run effects that assume that the slope of aggregate supply is vertical, which represents the long-run aggregate supply. Indeed, the slope of aggregate supply of Keynesian school is upward sloping, which represents the short-run aggregate supply. We know that there must be fluctuation in the short run, so Keynesian school's concentration on GDP is the fluctuation of GDP, while classical school is the general trend of GDP. Keynesian schools focus more on economic growth. They believe that increasing aggregate demand can boost economic growth in the short run. On the other hand, classical schools focus more on the business cycle and believe that price system will lead the market to move to equilibrium eventually. Another difference is emphasized side of the economy. Keynesian schools put more emphasis on the demand side. They believe that demand will create supply. However, classical schools emphasize supply side and believe that supply will create demand. Money neutrality means that changes in money supply only affect nominal variables but not real variables. In other words, the amount of money printed by the Fed can impact prices and wages but not the output or structure of the economy. This theory has its roots in classical schools. However, Keynesian schools believe that changes in money supply can influence economic performance. That is, they think there is no money neutrality. And since Keynesian schools believe government policy can help economic growth, for monetary policy, there will be real effects in the short run. For the fiscal policy, there will be multiplier effects. In contrast, there will be no effect in the classical economist perspective. Introducing so many distinctions between the two schools, let me take an example to make you understand this well.
Everyone knows that the pandemic has a lot of impact on the world's economy. Because of COVID-19, we are prohibited to leave our home. Consequently, consumption will be decreased in the short run, which means the eddy curve will shift to the left. For the government, which is supported by the Keynesian schools, they will increase government spending in order to make the eddy curve shift to the right. Or they will increase the money supply. And this action will decrease the interest rate. Decreasing the interest rate will further increase investment, making the eddy curve shift to the right in the end. As I mentioned before, Keynesian schools believe that the government can boost the growth of economies by increasing aggregate demand. But for the government, which is supported by classical schools, they will do nothing because they believe that market performs best with minimal government intervention.
I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye! Let me explain the classical school. Oh, 一直讲错是怎样？这连头怎么当个 YouTube 都那么难？